Hey guys, you clicked on the Q&A number 2 video, which means you wanted to see more questions answered by me. These questions are for November 15th. Same thing, I haven't read them yet and I will just put them in the order they come, right? So trying to keep this as real as possible. First question, what has been your favorite thing about performing at the Moulin Rouge? So I stopped performing at the Moulin Rouge 4 weeks ago, at the beginning of this year, beginning of 2019. We were there for 2 years, so we've done like nearly 1,000 shows there. Somebody is screaming. My favorite thing at the Moulin Rouge, I think, has been the audience, because the audience is like every night is on. The people who come to see the Moulin Rouge are mainly tourists who pay kind of expensive for the tickets, and they've had a couple of glasses of champagne when they come and see the show, so they really want to be there. And when you have an audience who wants to be there, they usually share a lot of that, and we receive that, and so that makes us even more like, we love to be on stage, but we love to be like, I prefer being on stage when people are there who want to watch me. So I feel it's like a give and take that really works super well in the Moulin Rouge. Will you compete next year in a trio with me in an aerobic gymnastics competition? This question comes from one of my good friends I did aerobic gymnastics with when I was younger. This was my first sports. This is funny that you asked this question, Sina. I don't know. I've never asked myself this question. I feel this has been a while I didn't do any aerobics, so I'm not sure if I'm still good at it. But sure. I'll link you some clips right here of what we used to do together. What's your hobby? Oh God, this feels a question where I could be easily judged on. Let's put it this way. I think hobby needs to have a little bit of a definition. I think hobby is something you do for fun, not to earn money with, not to impress anybody. You know, it's just what you do for yourself. I think what I do for myself is watching movies, going to the cinema. I like to go to the cinema alone. I like to read. I like to travel. I like to write. I like to journal. I like to meditate from time to time. I would like to do that more often. I like baking. I like doing hand stuff, like knitting, or not knitting, but like German word for basteln, crafting. But all these things are more like, for myself, it's kind of a type of meditation. Like, I would say all of those things are very hobby-like. I also really like playing games like chess or card games. And then I have hobbies that are more professionally linked. Like, for example, making this video. Is this a hobby or is this not a hobby? Because I don't earn money from this, but I do earn like people following me, which will maybe lead me to be a more important person in my career. Or it's just a hobby. So I really like making videos as well. And I also like learning stuff and taking classes and stuff. So I actually didn't share this with you yet, but I started acting school 6 months ago here in France to just learn something else, and who knows, maybe one day I'll play in a movie. So is this a hobby or not? I don't really know, but it's something I love. And then also circus was always like my dream. Since I'm like super small, I wanted to do circus, and now I do it for work, which is also sometimes really feels like work, but it also feels like a hobby. Like if I go and train on something new, it can be fun. So I hope this "what is your hobby" question was answered. This was a tough question. You look really pretty. Not exactly a question. Thank you. How many hours do you train? Okay, this is a tricky question, and I've gotten this quite often. When I was in circus school, I used to train a lot, like every day, up to 8 hours or so. A lot of training. Before that, when I was competing in aerobic gymnastics as well. Right now, I don't train that much, because when we're performing, already the performance and the warm-up to the performance is a lot of work. And since we're working so often and we have to make sure that we don't get injured, and we don't train on the side. Sometimes I will do a bit of stretching or yoga or something like that. And after the show I might do a bit of musculation, but nothing like training. The act is very stable. We do it twice a day, so it can't be more stable than that. So there's not much of training. We are planning though to maybe create a new act, and maybe even a new discipline. Who will see in the future. So that would involve a lot of training, which I would see like around 4 to 5 hours a day, something like that. Like just the research, the research the tricks, working on the tricks, and building the act, that would take a lot of time. So training is more something we do between contracts, not when we are on contracts. And once you have a very stable product, what people usually say, it takes it takes a tenth of the work to stay at the same level. Like to get somewhere, it will take you 10 times as much time, effort, and training as just staying there. So right now it's pretty smooth and I don't train that much. What advice would you give a performer wanting to work at the Moulin Rouge? So if you want to work at the Moulin Rouge as a dancer, there are auditions held all over the planet. You can Google it, you will find it. You can apply, audition and get in or not. For circus artists, it's a lot harder. First of all, there is no rigging, so you have just acts that are on the ground. Then the stage is very small, 6 by 6 meters, so you only have acts that fit onto that. And then it is the boss of the Moulin Rouge directly who will find your act and hire you. He will only go and see 2 festivals, the Cirque du Mans Festival in Paris and the Monte Carlo Festival in Monaco. So the chances to meet him are quite slim. And I have to say, we are super lucky to have found him and gotten into the Moulin Rouge. Can you talk to us a little bit about your studies in video? So when I arrived in Paris, because we were signed for this 2-year contract in the Moulin Rouge, I wanted to do something during the day because I felt like otherwise I would get super bored. So I studied film in a film school in Paris, the SAE film school, private school, very expensive, which has great material and where you can learn how to make movies. At the beginning, I didn't even want to make movies. I wanted to make better videos. And then I found out I learned about this whole movie scene, and I really fell in love with it. And now I would like to make more movies. And so basically, what I was studying is that like every 2 to 3 months we would learn something else. Like at the beginning, it was very technical approval. It was a very technical approach to how to make a movie, like how a camera works, how a projector works, how you put it, how you create light, how to shoot with what camera and what format. Very technical, not really what I wanted to do. And then a bit later we learned about writing a movie and about how to make a movie and what it all involves. I think I learned pretty quickly, and I think I also found out pretty quickly that what I like is either directing, writing, maybe editing. Then what I found out making my own first movie is that I felt I was on the wrong side of the camera, that I'm usually watched and not watching. Does that make sense? So that's why I started acting school. So it was a 2-year learning program where I learned basically all of the basics about making a movie. And now if I would want to specialize in something, I could do that somewhere else. But I think this was good for me, and I have a diploma now. Yay! You know how long you're gonna stay at the Moulin Rouge? We just finished. But we will be back for replacements like regularly, I think. And who knows, maybe one day we will be back for real. How to stand out at ENC auditions. Skills to have. ENC, like as I said before, ENC, École Nationale de Cirque, the circus school I went to. Skills to have, to make this very short. On the homepage you will find a list of things they're asking for. Do all of that. Learn, do your push-ups, do your chin-ups, do your splits, like the basics of the basics, get them. And then they will ask you for some acrobatics, some dance, and some theater. For the acrobatics, just do things you're sure you can do. In the theater and dance, go for it. That's what I would say for now, but maybe I will do a better video about that. Do you think or have a plan to perform in a movie? Funny that you asked this question, and I just told you for the first time that I'm doing acting school. Yes, I would love to play in a movie. I would love to play in a movie where I can speak several languages. I think that for me would be like the best of the best. And also what I would really love to play in a movie where I can be doing circus and mix that up. That would be really fun. So these were all the questions asked before. I feel I've been talking for half an hour, out of breath. If you like these Q&A randomies, and where I'm just talking to you like this, let me a little comment below telling me if you like these. If you have more questions, either you post them below, or the next time I ask on my Instagram about questions, you can ask them there. So don't forget to follow me on Instagram and on this YouTube channel. It was really good talking to you. I'm glad you stayed through these whole 2 Q&As. This was a while to listen to me, so I hope this was somehow entertaining. So see you guys soon. Love you guys. Bye.